Welcome into another video. It is Tuesday, so you know that it is power rankings time, and things are really starting to spice up right now. 4 weeks left in the season, no more bye weeks. We have full slates, 4 straight weeks, and we've got two teams who have been in the top 10 for a very long time in my power rankings, working their way back out. The Philadelphia Eagles and the Kansas City Chiefs. Panic mode for Kansas City. I would say that their season's probably done. Eagles still in the driver's seat in the NFC East, but it is getting scary. I don't think that they're really favorites to win the Super Bowl right now, the defending Super Bowl champions. But there you have it. That is 11 through 32 laid out for you. I would say the Colts definitely the biggest faller. Such an unfortunate situation with Daniel Jones and him going on IR. No Anthony Richardson, maybe no Riley Leonard. I think I'm afraid that this team won't win another game, and it's such a sad situation because of all the good that was coming out of Indianapolis this year, and just for that to kind of be the demise of their season. And it's been gradually declining, but that's just kind of the nail in the coffin on their year. So a big drastic fall for the Indianapolis Colts. Most teams still kind of in the mix in their relative spots. Let's go ahead and move into number 10. That's the Houston Texans. First time in my top 10, maybe this season. I might have had them there in the earlier weeks of the year. Probably not. They started out 0-3. So definitely I would assume their first time in my top 10 this season. And I think this is the best defensive unit in football right now. Genuinely. I thought the Broncos were going to probably be the number one unit. Maybe the Packers the number one unit. I knew that Houston would be in the mix with Ryans, and their roster is loaded. Petre, Lassiter, Hunter, Stingley, Will Anderson. They're loaded. So they have the roster. They have the coaching staff. I'm really worried about the ceiling on this offense. I'm not bought in fully into the scheme yet. I'm not fully bought into really the product on the field that I'm seeing offensively, but their defense, they can compete with any offense in the NFL. I think that's clear as day. Right now, I think they should probably be the favorites to win the AFC South. Honestly, I know the Jaguars are good, but I think the Texans are a better football team. I think that this team probably has a good chance to walk away with the AFC South. I know the Jaguars are on top of that right now, but I think this team is really going to have a good shot to do that. Number 9, the Chicago Bears, staying in my top 10 despite their loss to the Green Bay Packers. What I saw from that team on Sunday was I think that this team can compete with the best teams in the NFL. I just really do think that there's a limit on how far this team can go with their pass rush, and then Caleb just not fully being developed yet. I do think that he is trending in the right direction. The arrow is up on Caleb Williams. The arrow is up on the team, but defensively, their pass rush just can't get home with Montez Sweat alone. I think it's going to need to be an overhaul of the unit. Maybe they try and make a play at Max Crosby in the offseason, but I think they're going to be really focused in on the defensive line in the draft and free agency. I know that they've already spent a lot. So Ryan Poles is going to have his work cut out for him in maneuvering this cap situation around. Who can he cut? Who can he get rid of? Who can he trade away? Because they need to overhaul that defensive line unit if they want to be a serious contender in the coming years. It's a piss poor unit, really. Outside of Montez Sweat, I think up and coming Austin Booker as well. But outside of that, I do not think that there is a lot of positives going on in their defensive line. Take the ball away at a high rate, though. Offense can move the ball down the field, and I really like what the Bears are putting out there. They can compete the rest of this year. They got a tough schedule. Should be interesting. Number 8, the San Francisco 49ers. Off the bye week, so not much of a change here. Coming off the bye week, I expect 2 straight victories for the 49ers. I mean, you got the Titans this upcoming week, and you got the Colts with now no Daniel Jones after that. This team's very easily going to find themselves really close to locking in a playoff spot before they have to play the Bears and the Seahawks to finish the season. I think this team's really going to get rolling. Let's go ahead and move into my number 7 team. That's the Detroit Lions. After slipping out of my top 10 last week, finding themselves right back in the mix this week. A really dominating win over the Dallas Cowboys, who were arguably the hottest team in football, and not necessarily been having offensive woes, but just not to the level that they're expecting over there. You have the best, in my opinion, offensive unit in football in terms of weapons. I think Amon-Ra St. Brown, there's a real case for him to be a top 5 wide receiver. Jahmyr Gibbs, a real case for him to be the best running back in football. And I'm a massive Jameson Williams fan. So I think that getting the Dallas Cowboys this late in the season, who have been pretty piss poor all year defensively, let's get right. That's get right. I expect this unit to continue to put up their offensive production that they just put up against the Dallas Cowboys. Not to that extent, but moving the ball down the field, scoring points like they should be, like they're used to in Detroit. I know they lost Brian Branch defensively, so that could be a pretty tough blow for them. We'll see, but they still have a phenomenal pass rush. I mean, what they're getting out of Al-Qadim Muhammad is insane. I mean, he was a former Bear. I'm a Bears fan, so like I hated Al-Qadim Muhammad. I was not a fan of what he was putting out there, and what the Detroit Lions are getting out of him. Insane. All power to him. Let's go ahead and finish up my 6 through 10 with the Buffalo Bills. No change for them this week. Still staying at the 6th spot. That, in my opinion, that game against the Bengals, that's what I like to call a momentum win. So there's some people who think momentum is fraudulent and not real, and we're not going to get into the discourse about that, but you're sitting there, 6 minutes left to go. You're down 10 points to the Cincinnati Bengals, and it hasn't been the easiest, go at it this year for this Bills team. Not living up to the expectations of this franchise this year in any way, shape, or form. But that is what I consider a momentum win. I loved it, man. You go off there, 6 minutes left, and you rifle off a touchdown, a pick six, and then a pick turned into 6. 21 points in 3 minutes. That was beautiful. Beautiful. The place was rocking. I think that momentum will carry into the coming weeks, because that could kind of be the turning point of your season. Cincinnati comes into your house up 10 and they win. The 4-8 Bengals, I know they got Joe Burrow back, and that's not really what their record should be, but like, that's a turning point win in my eyes. I think this team could really go into New England this weekend and get themselves a victory. Let's go ahead and kick it off with my top 5. Number 5, we got the Denver Broncos. I don't know if I made any significant changes to my top 5 from last week, but nice win over the Raiders. Nothing too crazy, but boy, do they have a gauntlet on the way. Really, really tough schedule to finish off the year. It's going to be a lot of fun. They're currently in the driver's seat of the AFC West, and I do expect them to finish that cruise, and I do expect them to win the division. But you got Green Bay coming into your house this week. That's not going to be an easy task. Following week, you got Jacksonville, and I really, really like them a lot more than I do Jacksonville. But they're still a good ball team who can compete. They're 9-4 for a reason. They're no slouches. And then after that, you got the Kansas City Chiefs and then the Los Angeles Chargers, who are 9-4. Not going to be an easy task to finish the year, but it's still a very strong, really good defensive unit, and the offense just gets the job done, scoring enough points that they need to. They're rifled off 10 straight wins for a reason. Top 5 team in football. Number 4, another team who's also 11-2, also rifled off 10 straight wins. New England Patriots, baby. Coming off the bye week, not too much to say about it, but the big test is here. Here we go. You got the Buffalo Bills once again. You upset them in their house just this season, earlier this year, and they're going to be pissed off. They are not going to be happy, and they got some momentum coming with them. You're coming off the bye. This is going to be their first test with Vrabel in May, seeing how they can react off the bye week, because some teams could just fall apart. That could kill your momentum. This is a team who just won 10 straight games. That's something you would maybe like to keep rolling, and then you get into a little break. You're stalling. It's going to be interesting to see how Mike Vrabel and Drake May bounce back off this bye week, because I don't necessarily view it as a loss. It could be a good thing. It's situational for team to team. I mean, the Bears, just an example, we never won off the bye. This is the first year that we've won off the bye in forever. Like, I think we were since 2014 1-9 off the bye week. Like, some teams it's different. That could be a momentum stopper. So I'm excited about this game. I think it's going to be a beautiful game. The fact that it's not Sunday Night Football and we get to watch the Vikings and the Cowboys on Sunday Night Football instead, it's a fucking crime. I mean, we can get into that towards the end of the video. Number 3, Green Bay Packers. Maybe their highest ranking this season. Earlier on in the year, I had them in my top 5 a couple times. I don't know if I ever had them as high as 3, but man, it's a good team. Jordan Love, Toyota Thon, he's balling. He really is. I mean, he looks like a top 5 quarterback right now. There's no denial there. In any way, shape, or form, he looks like a top 5 quarterback. I do think that he should maybe find himself into the MVP conversation, especially if he finishes strong. I think right now, in my opinion, it's Matt Stafford, easy favorite, run away with it. May definitely in that mix as well. But Jordan Love's playing good football, great defense, a big win over the Chicago Bears, who were at top of the NFC North, the top of the NFC going into that game. That was it was a tight one at home, but the Bears are a good team. They are. And it was a good game. Defense came through when it needed to the most. You really turned it on in the first half, and that really helped the Green Bay Packers finish that game off in the second half with a strong defensive play from Keyshawn Nixon. I think this is, a phenomenal ball club, a team that could be contending for the Super Bowl. We had talked about this in the prior weeks. This is a team, they fell out of my top 10 there for a little bit because what they were putting on the field offensively was just not Super Bowl product. Their defense was Super Bowl product, but their offense was not Super Bowl product. And it was make or break time. And they've really started to make it work. They have. Matt LaFleur's back into his bag. Jordan Love's balling. This team should be contending for a Super Bowl this year. But the issue is the NFC is loaded. Number 2, Seattle Seahawks, baby. They just get scarier as time goes on, don't they? That's a top 3 defense with an elite wide receiver, probably the best wide receiver in football this year, Jackson Smith-Njigba. Sam Darnold's getting the job done, but he doesn't have to do much, and I think that's only going to help him come playoff time. This defense is killing it, man. They are dominating out there. They're setting him up where to make his life so much easier than it needs to be, and I think that he's proven, at least over the last 2 seasons, that he can make the throws when he needs to. And I'm really excited about this unit. I think there's a fun and exciting chance that we get to see Seattle and Los Angeles face off in the NFC title game this year, but we still get to see them play one more time this season, which is going to be for the NFC West, and that's awesome. Number 1 team in football, Los Angeles Rams. They have been my number 1 team now, I want to say for 6 straight weeks. 6-7 straight weeks, but man, they're killing it, dude. This is the NFL's best team. They get right back on track with a dominating win over a divisional opponent in the Arizona Cardinals, 45-17. Just belt. They got belted. Corum killed them. Kyron killed them. Stafford killed them. That's exactly what you're looking for. Get right game after a tough loss to the Carolina Panthers. Right back on track. I was not worried about that Panthers loss in any way, shape, or form. It was a very uncharacteristic loss. What you've seen against the Arizona Cardinals is what that Los Angeles Rams team truly is. Puka Nacua, elite. Devontae Adams, elite. The defense, elite. Still, in my opinion, the Super Bowl champs this year. We'll see if anybody can knock them off. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to another Power Rankings. There you have it, my 1 through 32. Make sure to like, subscribe, and comment. We'll be back soon with more videos and more content. Talk to you soon. Peace.